I think we're good to start. Okay, first of all, hello everyone, and welcome to the ninth community call hosted by Polynomial. As you all know, Polynomial is building a DeFi derivatives powerhouse. And today, we have a special guest with us. We have Matt from Synthetix Ambassadors. And first of all, I would like to welcome you, Matt, to this community call. And while we do that, we would just ask you to give a brief intro to our community about yourself so that they know you better.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you everyone for having me. I really appreciate being here with you folks. I know I've had you guys on a couple calls on our side. So yeah, brief intro about myself. As you guys said, I'm one of the SNX ambassadors, which typically deals with governance integrators, so on and so forth, trying to promote the Synthetix ecosystem as a whole. And I also serve as the SNX communications lead. So most written material that you see come out of the Synthetix side is typically for me, whether that's Twitter, blog post. You'll see me on Twitter Spaces every now and again, Discord announcements, so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm pretty active across the ecosystem. Long time DeFi user. I always like to say I've been around since the coolest thing we could do was use Yearn and Curve at the same time. those those days were exciting in their own right, but now we're at such a point where the development has really just sped up to an insane point. But anyway, yeah, that's the brief intro about me. Thank you again for having me.
Yep. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So before we begin, just like every other call, this is a message for the guests that if you have any questions during the call, Akhil is going to start a channel and is going to start a thread in general channel. Please feel free to post any questions over there and we'll keep on taking those questions. Okay. So as you guys will see that today's call is going to revolve around one particular topic, which is synthetic perps. So Matt, the first question is actually to you that Perps V2 were launched a few days back. So can you give us some more information about V2 and what should the users expect from it?
Yeah, awesome. Happy to that would be the first question out of your community call. It's really cool. Yeah. So Synthetix Perps V2 launched a little bit ago. Probably, I think it released right before the holidays, so it definitely could have gotten drowned out a little bit by the holiday time. But
Yep.
anyway, Synthetix Perps V2 is a upgrade of the Synthetix Perps V1 system that released back in March. Just broad strokes. I'll first talk about a little bit about it, and then we'll go into just two of the main features, and then we'll see if folks have any questions. So really, Synthetix Perps is a decentralized perpetual futures exchange that touts deep liquidity, because it ties into the synthetic step pool and low fees. So users are able to trade perp assets and gain exposure to a wide range of assets in the future. As of right now, it holds just ETH perp markets. And then the margin for each of these positions is denominated in SUSD. And then users are able to avoid exposure to the volatility and the value of their margin, and it simplifies P&L because people use this SUSD as their collateral. As the counterparty to all of these orders, the SNX step pool takes on the temporary risk of any skew in the market. So yeah, that's kind of like this high level perps combo, right? That to me that's this more boring side of it, but the upgrades are the really exciting side of Perps V2. So the most exciting part of the Perps offering that was just released is these off-chain oracles, right? So up to now, Synthetix has always used on-chain oracles for everything. And they've been great. There's really we've been able to build up to what we have because of these on-chain oracles. But the problem is that they're really just not fast enough for what Synthetix needs. And what Synthetix has done is they have now used these off-chain oracles, and pretty much how they work is off-chain oracles save prices off-chain, and they're provided to traders by keepers when a trade is initiated.
Okay.
And when that trade is initiated, there's about an 8-second delay based on optimism block times.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that 8-second delay, the trade is considered, confirmed, all good. Once, there's some staleness checks and, key threshold confirmations with the folks over at Pipe Network. And then, a final sanity check against these on-chain oracles. Now, what does that mean for traders? Really exciting news for traders. What comes out of using these off-chain oracles is that, Perps trading fees falls down into the 5 to 10 bips range, which not only opens up a lot of opportunities for regular everyday traders, it opens up a great deal of opportunities, within the ecosystem. I know the folks over at Lyra are tying into Synthetix Perps, to better hedge their options delta. And then
Mm-hmm.
I know the folks at Polynomial are also checking some things out. I definitely won't spoil that for you guys as I'm at your community call.
We're definitely gonna give the
Um, yeah. So I won't take the stage from you guys. But I have a cute little UI, a cute little graphic that I like to share. Do you guys have a chat running for this call by chance?
Yep. So you can.
There is a thread in the general channel in the polynomials.
Got it. Okay, cool, awesome. Yeah, let me drop this in here. I've got a cool little graphic that's here that kind of shows how these off-chain oracles here. Actually, I will actually drop this blog post, and it'll be a good explainer. But really, this is this first feature that really is tailored towards traders. But the second part of it is how Synthetix Perps is better for the LPs behind the market. And the LPs in this case are synthetic stakers. So there's really two things that ensure that this market, minimizes the risk that Perps LPs take on. Really, these two solutions are really innovative, like risk management features. And the first one is a price impact function. So pretty much what the price impact function is it simulates an order book style like price impact when you go to trade. So let's just say that the market right now is 5 million long skew, and another person wants to go long on this market. They're going to incur a premium to continue going long. So let's just say the ETH price is 1,500. They may pay a premium of 1,520 or 1,530 to actually long this market. So this ensures that there's an incentive for folks to not continue to long this market over and over. But on the flip side of it, the incentive is really for someone to come in and take the other side of that trade. The real incentive is to have an arbitrager come in and reap the rewards of that trade by receiving a discount on buying that ETH. So let's say the ETH price is 1,500 and it's the market's 7 million long skew or something like this. They may be able to buy the Ethereum for 1,450, right? Okay. And have this almost like instant profit for opening up this trade. So this is like this first high frequency arbitrage opportunity, but this second part of the arbitrage opportunity is the funding rate changes that are introduced to the market, which really this funding rate change allow funding rates to drift upwards in the continued presence of imbalance. So this kind of incentivizes these like more medium to like long-term folks to step in to balance out these markets. Now really that's kind of like the quick and dirty of like Synthetix Perps v2. As of right now, there's a SIP to greatly expand the number of markets that Synthetix Perps v2 supports. As of right now, as I said, it only really supports Ethereum, but this SIP that I actually wrote We'll expand that to a bunch more markets, which should be well received, including including Bitcoin and many others. So what I'll do is I'll actually drop the blog post Synthetix Perps in thread if you guys would like to take a look.
Please, yes, really helpful.
And then what I will also do is I will put the SIP in there as well if you guys want to see these new assets that hopefully will be supported if governance supports my vision for Synthetix Perps. And yeah, that's really this high level explainer of Synthetix Perps. The biggest way to quickly summarize all that is that Synthetix Perps allows Synthetix to drop these down to 5 to 10 basis points for trading, which is on par with large decentralized exchanges and some centralized Perps exchanges as well. And then there's these arbitrage opportunities that are available to continue to balance out the market and protect stakers from any sort of continued imbalance that could potentially expose them to price exposure. And with that opens up so many opportunities across the ecosystem. So that's my nice Synthetix Perps V2 explainer. I would highly recommend that you guys check out Quenta and Decentrix. And then hopefully very soon you guys can check out some of the things that are integrated over on the Polynomial on the Lyra side as well.
Okay, yep. Okay, that was a really good explanation, Matt. Thank you so much. In the beginning, I actually started writing a couple of questions because I was intrigued by a lot of the terms that you used and a lot of the things how they function. But by the end of your explanation, I had so many questions that I think we'll need another session for that. So I'm gonna hold on to them for later, I think. But thank you. That was a really good
awesome. Yeah.
And also
more than happy to answer any questions if you guys drop anything in the chat, or if you add me as a friend and ping me directly. More than happy to answer anything on that side of things.
Okay. Coming to the latter part of your explanation, when you said that there are going to be a lot of opportunities in the ecosystem and people are going to build on top of it. So now I'm going to come to Gautam. So Gautam, what are the few products that Polynomial is working on right now? Like, can you share some alphas? And do Perps V2 also fit into that?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, today is a historic day for Polynomial. We've been committed to providing passive yield earning opportunities for our users. But today we are excited to announce that we are taking a step forward and catering towards active DeFi users. And we are proud to announce that we will be building on top of Perps V2 to create a revolutionary new way for users to interact with DeFi. And Perps V2 is the future of DeFi, and we are committed to making it more accessible and user-friendly. Our earlier focus was focus on providing passive yield with options, right? But with this new trading interface that we will be building, we are catering towards the active users, and we will be looking forward to more advanced way to trade and invest in DeFi. So we are excited to unveil that our new trading interface for Perps. A picture will be posted soon. You can check it out, in which we will change the way you trade and invest in DeFi. Our goal is to create the best user experience in DeFi, and we believe that it will surpass the centralized finance exchanges in the longer term. And those of you who want to get early access, we are offering beta access to a select group of users. So to do that, there is a whitelist form. Please fill it and then tweet. And if you want to increase your odds, tweet probably nothing and hashtag Polynomial Perps. And the launch date of the new interface is around the corner. So we are targeting a soft launch in 2 to 3 weeks. And that's not all that is in store. We have many more exciting developments planned for Perps V2, and we will announce them in the next community call. And this is just the beginning. So join us and let's build the future of DeFi.
Awesome. Thank you, Gautam. Okay, Matt, we actually have a question. I think that's for you. So someone has asked that how does Perps V2 stand against GMX right now? I think someone just wants a comparison between the two.
Yeah, definitely. But first off, just have to say, Gotham, it is amazing that the Polynomial folks are also building out a trading UI for Perps V2. Really excited to see what the users think on that side of things. And then really the second part of that is that having many decentralized options people to trade is super important to the decentralized ecosystem. And I think a lot of people don't maybe kind of take it for granted that at the end of the day we're all striving towards a decentralized future. So that is also a really amazing part of that, and I just want to make sure folks recognize it. But yeah, super excited to see what that looks like. You guys always build out some super high quality products, so I know folks will really love it. But to the question on GMX, yeah, I mean, I typically don't do like these sorts of direct comparisons. But I don't know. I'm kind of happy to do like some things that I've noticed because I'm not super day to day into how GMX operates. But GMX does not have the same style like these same style like innovative risk management things that Synthetix has introduced. I have seen that they have started talking about some of these price impact functions and funding rate adjustments to better balance out the market. But I don't know how far they are in the development process for that, but I do know that they've started talking about it. GMX uses a similar style off-chain Oracle system, but to the best of my knowledge, I think it is still like semi-privileged in the sense that like how it works. I don't think it uses Pyth or Chainlink or any of these like respected Oracle solutions. And I'm not even being respected in a bad way. I more so just think that they had done it in a centralized way because that may have been the only path for them to do it at the time. So yeah, I mean that's really like how that side of things would compare from like a feature level. As said, I'm definitely not like super across the ways that these different folks will actually do it in terms of like the day to day. Though one quick comparison on like how fees are on how fees are distributed on the Synthetix side, 100% of fees are distributed to stakers, and there's not like a carve out for LPs or the treasury or well, rather, there's not a carve out for like Synthetix ETH LPs or the treasury or anything like that. While GMX has this, I think they do like a 70-30% split, or they have some sort of split that they do with stakers that isn't 100% of fees.
Okay.
But yeah, and then anything else like limit trading and things like that. That's something that's in development by various integrators across the ecosystem as well. But I do not want to take too much time away from your from your community call.
That's totally fine because many of the people here, I'm pretty sure they use various platforms, so it gives them a good picture like which platform to use for what purpose. Okay, so coming to OP Quest now, Akhil. OP Quest ended just a couple of days back. So how would you explain, like, how did the event go for Optimism and for Polynomial specifically? Like, how was the response of the people? What would you like to like say about that?
Hi all, happy to see you all. Happy to see you all in again in another community call. When coming into Optimism Quest, it ended a few days back. The quest aimed to learn about the projects or the about the Optimism ecosystem, and it really did it. It introduced Polynomial to many users in the ecosystem. Many users got to know about how option vaults work and the yield mechanism. We would like to thank Optimism team for choosing us to be part of the quest. Also, the Galaxy team organized it very well. On the Polynomial side, we more than 55k unique addresses completed the task and claimed the polynomial question FTs. When we come into the retention rate, it dropped in the first few weeks, and then we realized and changed the quest criteria, and the retention rate went up from 36% to more than 50% at the moment. And also our social media numbers were also went up. So totally it was a learning experience for us too, and the community benefited from the event at the end of the day. Yeah.
On this note, like Matt, what are your thoughts on things like OPQuest?
So it's definitely a good question. I don't know if you've read any of my thoughts on the forums, but first off, yeah, I definitely echo these things about optimism as it comes to setting this up and driving new users to the platform and so on and so forth. I think that's a very powerful thing to do, and gamifying it through quests is definitely a good path. It's always great to incentivize like certain behavior with this sort of thing as well, especially because it's not like monetary in nature. It's just like a cool little NFT to have, and that's really it. I definitely have like some of my own views about using this as like criteria for an airdrop, which is probably what people expect Optimism to do. So I'm a little wary of doing things like that, just because I think it sets like a bit of a bad precedent across across the ecosystem if you use something like this for an airdrop, because people just will farm it to all hell. But yeah, across Synthetix, across Quenta, Polynomial, Lyra, and so on. I know folks saw a great deal of good numbers, and hopefully retained a great deal of those users as well. But yeah, some of my own thoughts on the quest as like a monetary thing are a bit separate, and they can be read on the op forums. I've discussed them there at length.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I'm also not very sure yet. But like, of the number of users, like we have like 63k users, and most of it came from OPQuest. It's a good way to. I think it's the equivalent of ads for crypto, I guess.
Yeah, and like the really amazing part of that is that you didn't have to pay anything for them, right? Like people are motivated by a sense of receiving an NFT, which is really powerful. The thing within Synthetix is that the best people to really release these NFTs are really the integrators, right? Like someone like Polynomial and Quenta and Synthetix and and Lyra and so on, right? And like they have really good results with these NFTs because they're these user facing platforms. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we've seen a lot of good info out of the user facing platforms as it relates to these NFTs. So yeah.
Well, that's an interesting thought, actually. Like, the user-facing platforms can actually give NFTs to users who have been trading well and have been trading in large volumes.
Yeah. I mean, they can really do as they please with how exactly they want to do it. Maybe it's a set amount of trades, maybe it's a set volume, so on and so forth. Okay. On the Synthetix side, it becomes a little bit more interesting to actually give out NFTs for things, right? Because the Synthetix system is set up in a way where when you stake, you're really a part of the whole system in power, how it works, and you're providing liquidity to these traders, right? You serve as a counterparty. So providing an NFT for a more like this like complex activity that is more long term in nature becomes a little interesting. But it is something that we did, and we did see a good amount of folks come in and get that NFT as well.
Okay. Thanks, man. So Akshita, first of all, I would like to welcome Akshita and introduce her to show to the whole community. So Akshita joined our team a couple of weeks back, and she handles most of the social media these days for Polynomial. So hi Akshita, and welcome aboard.
Hey everyone, thank you.
Okay, so Akshita, coming to the community side, so what are the new things or some of the cool things that people can expect in the coming weeks from us?
Yeah, so we have got a lot of interesting things planned for the coming weeks. We are planning to bring back the community content contest after the Perp launch. Probably it will be for the period of like 1 month. A few weeks back, we lost approx 13K members from our Discord server due to a misclick while pruning users. But fortunately, we are again at 27K polynomials on Discord and 93K polynomials on Twitter. We have also got a massive growth in engagement due to the Optimism Quest. Along with this, we are proud to announce that we have participated in the protocol delegation program and finished in the 8th rank. To sum up the community section, last month was a growing month for us, and we have a lot of things in our bucket for all the community members in the coming weeks. So yeah, just stay connected.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so I have just one more question for the day. I think we should put Matt's name in the community call title because the next question is also for him. So Matt, like we all are excited about Perps V2, but there's one more thing which is like right on the corner, that is like Synthetix V3. So can you again give us some insights and give us some briefs about Synthetix V3?
Yeah, definitely happy to chat on Synthetix V3 a little bit, and I'll do it in a very summarized fashion, just because it is definitely a very complicated change. But really, what Synthetix V3 aims to do is it aims to accomplish what Synthetix set out to do many years ago, which is really to transform the protocol into this permissionless derivatives platform that allows people to provision liquidity without having to go to governance, right? And really, what that means is setting up this system to enable things like permissionless markets and permissionless asset creation, and this really granular control of your credit to really enable this this permissionless platform that anyone can tie into without having to go to Synthetix governance. Going a little bit further, this Synthetix V3 is a complete rebuild of the protocol from the ground up. For folks that have been around for a little bit in the DeFi ecosystem, you know that Synthetix didn't start as a liquidity provisioning protocol, which is really what it is now. Synthetix started as a stablecoin protocol under the name of Haven. It set out to do what really like MakerDAO had done initially, where they had DAI, backed by ETH, but Synthetix had Haven USD backed by Haven tokens, and then from there it transitioned to Synthetix and synth exchanging and having like these spot synthetic assets, and then now you have more of this like generalized view of like liquidity provisioning as a whole. So really, what's saying all this, like the importance of saying all this, is that many of these DeFi like architectural standards on like the Solidity side and like the development side were not standards when Synthetix was built, right? And Synthetix has spent years on the R&D and the this building out this like proper architecture to support Synthetix in a way that integrators and users and the developers on our side feel much better about the system that's being created, right? Because the goals for Synthetix V3 is really three things. One is this permissionless asset and market creation. Two is liquidity as a service, which a lot of folks in our community have been calling LAS. It's just a funny little way of saying that. And really what liquidity as a service means is that Synthetix will be a liquidity service to build on to increase liquidity rapidly, because that's one of the problems of DeFi that people across DeFi have faced. Let's just say that you're trying to build a new perpetual futures exchange and you want to generate liquidity to the platform. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do some sort of liquidity mining to bring people in, right? And while it could work, it usually doesn't work for the long term. It usually works short term, maybe medium term, and then you start to suffer from some sort of liquidity issues. So what Synthetix V3 does is it allows you to tap into the Synthetix liquidity, build your perpetual futures exchange or any sort of financial derivative, and gain access to this liquidity without having to, extend yourself to, handling this liquidity growth yourself, because Synthetix has these, large pots of liquidity that it can deploy pretty much anywhere. And then the third is this better control for stakers. Stakers will be able to choose exactly what assets and markets they're collateralizing. Right now, the Synthetix debt pool works in the way that if you stake, you pretty much collateralize and you're the counterparty to all trades. But in the future, through Synthetix v3, stakers will be able to decide what exactly they're, providing credit to, or like actually, the counterparty to. So in that case, they'll be able to be the counterparty to only, perps trades, and maybe only perps trades for ETH and Bitcoin markets if you're a more conservative staker and you don't want to, collateralize, let's just say like Dogecoin perp markets. Maybe that's too much risk for you, right?
Yep.
And really, just in like this broad sense, what this means for builders is that, builders can create these markets and such on top of Synthetix to support any financial derivative you want to build. I've seen some of the developers on the Synthetix side, obviously they talk about the products that are built on Synthetix now, but it goes even further. They've discussed building things like insurance funds. They've discussed building things like lending markets. There's like so much that is possible on top of Synthetix v3, and it's so generalized to the sense where anything can be built, and it's really just a matter of actually building it on top of the platform, because it's just a liquidity provisioning tool that handles all of these problems that surround like liquidity growth provisioning and tracking how much credit each person should have access to, and so on and so forth, and trader profits and on and on. So yeah, all of that is kind of abstracted away by Synthetix, and then integrators can just come in and be the user facing folks for any financial derivative. So yeah, that's really this like deep-ish explainer of Synthetix v3. I will drop a Twitter thread in here to learn a little bit more. But really, the biggest thing to recognize is that it really just is this goal that has been set out for many years that Synthetix has been trying to do, is to decentralize the way that financial derivatives can be built, and then from that, Synthetix will enable builders to set out to build any sort of permissionless market or asset they want. So just as a quick example, Polynomial, if they wanted to build a let's just say they wanted a Dogecoin perp market, right, just for some random reason. Mm-hmm. And let's just say that the Spartan Council didn't want to provision, liquidity towards it within the V2X system, right? Within V3, Polynomial could just start up that market. They could just, start up that asset within the market logic of, perpetual futures trading. And then now it exists in the world. And now it's just a question of, okay, we need to direct some liquidity towards this market, right? And Synthetix has already dealt with all the, all the infrastructure side of this. And now it's just, hey, let's convince some folks to get liquidity into this. Let's, try to get the Spartan Council to direct some amount of liquidity, even if it's not the entire, debt pool. It could be, a couple $100,000, whatever. And then now this really opens the possibility for, this real deep control of collateral around new assets that really wasn't possible prior to this. So I'm going to drop a Twitter thread on Synthetix v3. And then some info will be coming relatively soon on that side of things. But really, it's a really exciting path to decentralizing financial derivatives and their creation.
Thank you so much, Matt. That was a very good explanation. I think that will be really helpful if you can drop the Twitter thread, because I saw that some people are already looking at the other blog which you just posted in the chat for Perps V2. Okay, so I'll just try to summarize the call because we're already over time, and Gautam, feel free to add anything to it. So first of all, we had Matt with us from Synthetix Ambassadors. He talked about Perps V2 and Synthetix V3. Both of them have very, very exciting things coming. And both of them, actually, for both of them, Matt has shared a couple of links in the general channel. There's a thread. Please feel free to go there, look at the threads, and ask any questions in the same thread, or you can just directly ask Matt. Apart from that, the major news that's coming from Polynomial is that we are also building on top of Synthetix Perps V2, and users will be able to see what we're building very, very soon. And as we're talking, our team is actually in almost a testing phase right now, so you can expect it to come out anytime now. Apart from that, the OP Quest ended, and it was a great boost for not just us but many other platforms. But we specifically gained a lot of users from the OP Quest, and from the community side, we will be starting the community contest again. So all of you community members, it's time to again become active. Well, that's pretty much it, I think. Gautam, anything you want to add to it?
No, I guess that's it. Thank you, Matt, for joining us. It was great to have you. It's the first time we called you. Typically, you call us, so it's very good. We hope you can come back.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Matt.
Yeah, no,
You gave
it's
us really good information about the new products. Thank you so much.
Yeah, awesome. It's always nice to flip the script a
One
little
more
bit.
thing, sorry. I'm sorry
just-
because I see people dropping off, so I just have to tell them that there's an oat which you can claim, and just in case you're not eligible for it, Akhil is gonna flow a Google form, and you can just fill in your Discord handles there, and you'll be able to claim oat. Yep. Sorry, Matt, you were saying something.
Yeah, no problem. The only question from my side is, you guys mentioned that to improve the chance of getting access to the polynomial perps, you said to drop a tweet that says probably nothing #polynomial perps, right? That's
Yeah.
all right, cool. So I will put out a tweet on my personal and put it in the thread as well.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yes,
we'll do an announcement soon, but we wanted to get first the Discord people in. That would be like cooler, right? We want to build a strong community in Discord and slowly branch out.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining the community call, and see you next time. Bye bye.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone.